Hello and welcome back to the Triforce podcast. This week we were not able to record as Pyrion had to look after his kids. Sips, how you doing?
Good.
So instead, you guys are going to listen to some old fluff, which you've probably already heard from Team Double Dragon. That's right.
Cut into podcast format.
Some archive footage.
Yeah.
All of the finest moments of me talking to Sips while he's not paying attention over on Team Double Dragon.
And vice versa.
I hope you enjoy it. And if you don't, well, I don't care.
Me neither. Bye.
Bye. Are you going to do an intro?
No, we've started. This is it. You've already...
Oh, shit.
We're back. Team Double Dragon's back in the motherfucking house.
Did you ever play the pools?
The pools.
Pools, yeah.
What kind of pools?
Do you remember what, like, it was a thing that people used to play the pools? Do you remember this?
No. I'm not from this country, though, to be fair. Maybe it's like a... Maybe it's like a thing that, like, I'm not aware of. The pools?
Yeah, people used to play the pools.
I used to swim in pools.
No, there was like... it was a little bit before my time, okay. I must admit. I remember when I was a kid, right? Yeah. You would watch the football results on TV, okay?
Uh-huh.
And my mum would play the pools. Now, I don't really remember what it was or how it worked.
Do you ever, like, think back on that kind of stuff and think that your parents were just lying to you and actually it was like they were having sex, but they just called it something different and you didn't realize it at the time? Like, try to think now.
Well,
think back carefully and think, hang on, was there anything kind of weird about the pools? Like,
God. Yes.
Your mom was just wearing lingerie while she was saying this to you or something? Or
They went and had a foot massage. That must be it. That must be the code.
Yeah, there you go. Your whole childhood just crumbles down around you.
I think that in the modern world, okay, it's much easier to spend your money, okay, than it used to be.
Well,
for example, in the days before the internet, sure, you could go into a betting shop and buy stuff, but betting shops are like dingy. There's like
they always have those
smoking.
like chain curtain things on the door too. What's up with that?
I don't like the idea of going into a betting.
I feel like
going into
curtains.
a betting shop.
That's why I don't
a little
go
bit
in them.
like taking heroin in a dark alleyway, right? I don't want to go into a betting shop any more than I want to inject myself with a dirty needle. Not that betting shops are horrible places or anything like that. You know, I had a friend who worked in one. It was fine.
Yeah.
You know. Etc. But I think that back in the day, before the internet, before the days of free-to-play games where you could just, like, at a click of a button, like, have access to your credit card and spend hundreds of pounds on Candy Crush or whatever, you know, back in the day when you were playing the pools or whatever, it was fairly, or the lottery, it was fairly kind of innocent. You know, you couldn't buy your lottery tickets online or anything like that, so you'd have to go to the shop. You know, you'd be in the shop. That if you were buying more than like 5 lottery tickets, the clerk behind the counter would be like,
"Whoa,
what are you doing?"
big spender! But like the internet never tells you that.
Nowadays, you know, you could just buy like 50 quid's worth of lottery tickets online, and no one would bat an eyelid. There's no kind of like limit there. I think in a way.
That's the thing. So, like when you used to go to buy condoms from like the pharmacy or whatever. You just buy like a pack of 3 or whatever because it was easier and cheaper. And, you know, you didn't want to be the guy who went in there and bought like an ultra pack of like 150 condoms because that would just look kind of weird because you actually had to deal with someone. But now that you can order them online and nobody ever sort of, you know, gets in your face or asks you any questions or gives you any sort of knowing looks. Yeah, I mean, I buy thousands at a time.
I feel like the only person who would go into a fucking pharmacy and literally take all the condoms off the shelf, put them in a basket, and go up to the counter and like just stare the cashier in the eye would be some psychotic McLovin style teenager. Okay, that's the only fucking person who would do that, right? But now that same person just buys them online. Do you think that has resulted in more free loving and more sex and more casual sex in our society? It can't be a bad
thing, right? The thing is, now, people should use condoms when they're having sex, right? Especially with people you don't know or that you've only just met or whatever. And the fact that
wise words.
The fact that there's more. The fact that you can buy can buy this protection online without any embarrassment is only a good thing, right? It means that people are more likely to have fallout shelter quantities of condoms on hand now, because you can buy them in bulk on the internet, and you won't get like, you know, that awkward look from the person behind the cash, especially when you're buying like the outlandish ones with like the studs and the ribs and banana flavored and stuff like that.
Oh, man, shit, yeah.
How many times have you gone to buy those bad boys and you just get that look and you're just like, oh, damn, now she knows.
It's for her pleasure I'm doing this. It's not for my own pleasure.
Stop judging
I don't get
me.
nothing out of those knobbly bits, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. You know, there's a lot of... I think the internet, you know, coming back to it, I think, yeah, there's a lot of forces aligned against us that want our money at all times. And I think the internet has made it much easier for them to do that because they prey on the convenience factor too, right? You're on your iPad, you're thinking about banana flavored condoms, you're like, fuck it, I'm just going to order like 200 of these sort of thing. And you can do that with like a swipe and a touch of your iPad while you're sitting there like in your mum's underpants or whatever.
It's true. I mean, I like that about the internet.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. For example, I like being able to. I think I haven't done it in this flat because I've got limited room and also it's impossible to get stuff delivered. But if I had a house and I lived in a house, I would just order shit off Amazon like that. I would order like 10 bottles of lube. Of like
gallons of
like anything that I needed, and so I would never run out.
Yeah, and more importantly, you never
I would be having sex with a young girl off Tinder, right?
God.
Not that young.
Okay. Yeah.
She's on Tinder, so
she's on Tinder. Yeah.
I got her to show her her driving license, so I checked.
You sent her the invoice from Amazon of all the banana flavored condoms you ordered, so she knows that you mean business.
And so basically, the other thing, right, is that I order like Ocado and shopping online sometimes. And
you ordered
the
Ricardo?
thing I often do is I just add my previous shopping basket. So I'm just like, okay, I'll just order what I ordered before. And so sometimes I end up with too much of certain things, like too many bags of brown rice, or sometimes you buy things thinking, do you know what, I'm going to make some couscous or whatever, right? So you buy a bag of couscous and or something like that, and then you never use it, and then you forget that it's there, and then you keep adding to that stockpile, and before you know it, you have 10,000 unused condoms just blocking up your cupboards.
Well, they have an expiry date too, so if you have recently bought tons of condoms on the internet and you're storing them in your house for whatever reason, thinking, I'll get around to using them at some point, just remember they'd go out of date and they're no longer effective. So,
and do you know who needs those?
You know what?
Charity shops
needs those. That's right.
Take them to
donate
charity
all
shops.
of those in-date condoms to UNICEF today. Actually, you know what? I think they might take them.
I was just thinking that they always say that when you die, it's like going to sleep.
How does anyone know?
For a long time.
People always say that, but how do they know?
Well,
they
because
assume,
we've
but of course,
kind of had...
when you assume, it makes an ass out of you and me. Remember that one?
True.
Remember that one? Do you remember what that's from?
Yeah.
You want to do a little trivia, little quiz, high stakes?
What is that from?
Try to guess. Don't look it up. Just try to guess.
Is it from some film?
It is from some film, yes.
It's from an American film.
It's from an American film. You're right.
Is it from The Godfather?
No, it is most...
Did The Godfather say
I'm sure...
Hey, you come to me and my family.
Sonny.
When you assume...
When you assume...
out of you and me.
Yeah, The Godfather was known for just having a chalkboard in his office at all times so that he could sort of spell that out for them as well. No, it's not The Godfather. You have 2 more guesses. If you don't get this, Lewis, I'm afraid that I don't think we can be friends anymore because it's a pretty famous movie.
Goodfellas, because I'm sure it was from a mafia film.
I'm going to give you a fucking hint.
Sure
it's not from a mafia film, okay?
They said, do you think I'm funny? Do you think I'm funny? Do you think that was funny? when you assume, you make an S out of you and
Yeah,
me.
no, the mafia aren't like that. I don't know. It's like not like. Is that wit
Was it
or
from
is that
Goodfellas?
No, it's
No?
not from any mafia. Because the thing is with the mafia, they only think that violence is funny. You remember that? Have you ever watched Richard Pryor before? You ever seen like any of his jokes about the mafia? And he's like, never hang out with the mafia because they're crazy. And then he's like, does this impression of this guy, and he's like, and then Tony stabbed the guy with the ice pick in his eyes. It popped his fucking eyes out. And they're all patting each other on the back and everything. Like, the mafia wouldn't find ass out of you and me clever or funny. Like, they only want to talk about the time they gouged some dude's eyes out with an ice pick.
Now, I don't know if this is. I don't. I mean, that is the thing. Is though that is what's it called, gallows humor, right? Because they must be greatly traumatized.
Oh, they
all
must
these
be,
people
yeah.
with the mafia, right? And the only way they can get to sleep at night and wake up in the morning is through funny shit like that. You know, through making actual funny jokes about it. Otherwise, God, they'd all just want to kill
Do you
themselves.
think
every
they
day.
use
It'd be
alarm
tough.
clocks, though?
They must have like post-traumatic stress all
They
the time.
must do, yeah.
You know, being
Realistically,
in the mafia.
yeah.
Because, man, it must really shake them
But
up.
they have to appear tough, though, right? They could never show the weakness of like being post-traumatized. You know, it wouldn't be like, yo, Tony, why are you crying? Nothing, Luciano. I'm a bit of post-traumatic stress, you know. They wouldn't be allowed. I remember in The Sopranos, it was like a big deal how like nobody could know that Tony was seeing a psychologist or whatever, because it would appear weak or whatever, and he was in charge. Like, it's just not a thing in the mafia. You're not allowed to show any sort of I don't know if it's actually weakness, though, is it? It's not really weakness. In their eyes, it's a weakness. But I mean, if you're traumatized because of something that you've seen or something that's happened to you, that's not really a weakness, is it?
So tell me where this came from. If it even, because I don't think it's credited to anyone in particular. I think it's been used a lot, but I don't think it's.
Okay, well, famously for me, and where I remember seeing it first. Are you sure you don't want to guess? You've already guessed Godfather and Goodfellas. You got one more guess.
Well, apparently, the person who has been credited.
Why did you
with
look it up? You should have guessed.
Is Jerry Belson.
Jerry.
From season 3 of The Odd Couple.
No, come on.
That's apparently the first time it was ever put on
Jerry
TV.
Belson.
So, Jerry
Odd
Belson.
Couple.
Yeah, so what have you got? What's your
Well, the first
what's
place
your
I
opinion?
saw it was in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh.
Remember when the guy is like talking to Clarice Starling and he's like, and she was like, "Hey, coach, I think I got a hot lead on this Murdiddly Erdler," and he's like, "Are you making an assumption,
Murdiddly Erdler.
Clarice?" And she's like, "Well, yeah." And he's like, "Don't you know that when you assume, it makes an ass out of you and me?" And he's like showing it to her like on the chalkboard. He's like written it down.
What, his ass?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
right.
drawing a
He's
picture
writing
of
it
his
down.
ass with chalk on the chalkboard. He's like, "Clarice,
This is my ass.
does this look like my ass to you? Now, if I draw on some ill-fitting trousers, do you think I look good in these? Do you think I'd be able to pull them off at the company party later on this year? Hypothetically."
This stick figure is you. This ass is me. When you assume you make an ass, he's pointing, out of you and me. He points to his own ass.
Do you want to do another trivia? Guess what this one's from, okay?
Sure.
This is another classic.
Ghostbusters.
No. I got to actually think of the quote, actually. It's been...
Groundhog Day.
No. It's not Groundhog Day. It's the one where the guy is like, "Your mind is writing checks that your body can't cash." Remember that one?
Oh, yeah. It sounds like Lethal Weapon.
No, it's not Lethal Weapon. Close, but no. I mean, there are some similarities between the movie that it's
Die
from.
Hard.
No, it's not Die. You got one more guess. You're really plowing through them. You got to think here. You got to think. You got to think real hard.
How come I only get 3 guesses? That's not
Well,
fair.
it's like a pretty standard thing for guessing.
Is it Top Gun?
Yes!
Oh my God, it is!
Holy shit!
they're
What a
in the-
recovery! Wow, that was crazy.
I was just, I can't believe it. I can't believe
That's
it. I got it.
crazy. That was such a good quote, wasn't it?
I knew it was 80s. I knew it was an 80s.
It was definitely
fucking,
like
it's
all
such
80s.
an 80s
Such
quote,
an 80s quote, isn't it? It's crazy. What a great movie, though. I mean, if you've never appreciated Top Gun before, make 2016 the year where you finally appreciate Top Gun. Because holy shit, it's a great movie.
Your ass is writing checks that you're
It's a fucking weird one, isn't it? It's like kind of hard to remember how it like goes because sometimes I feel like saying like your body's writing checks that your ass can't cash. What? Hang on a second, that's not right.
Everyone has their all little weird individual quirks. My mum's quirk is that she can only drive barefoot, which is really strange.
What?
So she gets like into a car, will take her shoes off or whatever they are,
or whatever,
and then
whatever
they are.
Clogs.
They might be boots, they might be high heels.
Your
It depends on
Dutch,
the day.
Right?
Take her clogs off.
Yeah, she'll take her big clogs off.
Take her wellies off.
Taking her big rubber boots
and
off.
Drive barefoot. Now, I've tried doing that, and it gives you a lot more sensitivity, okay? It's a little bit like, imagine instead you're touching a woman's boobages.
What?
Right, but you got gloves on.
Hang on a second. What are we talking?
Okay.
Are we talking about your mum's boobs now?
No. Imagine you're touching a lady's boobages.
Okay. Can I imagine I'm touching your
but
mum's?
you've got
Nice.
but you've got gloves on.
Okay.
That's what driving a
like
car is
OJ
like
gloves?
with shoes on.
Gloves don't fit.
Okay, let's not imagine the boob thing. Let's get
Show
away
me
from
your
that.
boobs.
No, you have to be feeling something. You have to be doing something active.
Right.
Okay,
Like
something like doing the pedals in a car.
Oh, God, okay.
I'm trying to find a real world analogy.
Right.
I couldn't think of anything
so I'm
other
doing
than.
I'm feeling your mum's boobs and I'm doing something. There's lots of thrusting.
Okay, now
happening.
imagine you're putting gloves on.
Okay.
It's difficult, but you can still
You
do
still
it,
can,
right?
yeah. It's another thing that
And that's what-
having kids teaches you is to do everything one-handed. I don't know, like you should try one day. You know, like how they give kids at school when they're trying to teach them like about babies and stuff. Do you ever get that at school where they give you the fake baby and it's got like a computer in it?
That is a totally new thing.
No, it's not
You
new. We had
never
that when I
actually
was
did
in school.
that, did you?
Yeah, I don't think they had the
You
computers
didn't.
though. They didn't have the computers that like were able to detect how many times you chucked it against the wall and stuff like they do now. But I think instead of giving kids that, I think what they should do instead is just break a kid's arm and force him to do everything with one hand, because that's a lot more true to what it's like having kids. Because you're always holding a kid in one hand and then you're doing everything else with one hand. That's really hard. It's like an art that you have to get used to.
I
to
think
master
I
that
am
art.
like kind of one-handed anyway, though. Like people are obviously left-handed or right-handed, but I think I am basically so. My right arm is like much more. Oh, I don't want to go down this direction.
Yeah, how come?
It's much.
Has it been a lot of workouts? Have you had a lot of workouts?
A lot of right arm workouts.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
my right arm gets a lot more action. On my
Your left one.
On my left
Yeah.
arm. No
Wrists? Do you have
but
really
I'm
strong
just saying
wrists too?
when it comes
It's all in the
to
wrist.
everything, I feel like I barely use my left arm anyway. You know?
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I'm
I don't
useless
need
if
it.
I have to use my left hand like to write or anything like that. Some people can write with both hands. That to me that sounds crazy. Like my left hand is totally
sound
fucking
crazy.
useless. Like if I were to touch my dick with my left hand, it would feel like a stranger was touching it. Like that's how little control I have over my left hand.
It's you.
But
Yeah,
It's true, though.
I couldn't agree more.
yeah, is that what you do?
Sips. But you would never need to do that.
No,
though,
I don't
right?
really would never need to. Unless I just wanted to for fun, like so that I could feel like a teenager again. But
Okay.
other than that.
Good God.
Well, anyway.
Well, please let us know your experiences with this kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
are you a lefty
know?
or a righty? And do you have
Are
strong
you a lefty
wrists?
or a righty? When you wake up, are you in a state of panic or arousal or relaxation?
And after you've done all that, picture yourself fondling Lewis's mom's breasts and trying to do something else at the same time.
Maybe we should have like a double dragon generator.
Oh, that would
okay?
be great, yeah.
That has like a load of D's.
Yeah.
And then a load of D other words.
A lot of
and
other
you can
Ds, but they can never duplicate. Yeah. Hey, I just thought of one that we never used before. Team Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, man.
Oh,
Fuck, that's awesome,
Okay,
actually.
so
I think...
you got to add all of the verbs Are they verbs? No. Adjectives? No. What are they? What are the...
I haven't gone to school in like 20 years. I
I
forget
can't
all that
remember
shit.
what they're called. I can't remember what the terminology is. And do you know what? I don't give a fuck.
Well, yeah,
actually.
that's right. School.
Learning
Yeah, learning. Suck my dick,
all
learning.
that shit. Whatever. We need one on the nouns or whatever
Yeah,
on one
nouns.
side. And
Fucking
proper
suck my dick, two
words on the other
nouns and
side. Who cares?
adjectives. I
Whatever.
don't even know what you are, but guess what? I'm always up for a good time.
Why do you like Al Gore so much?
I just find him kind of funny. Just in like
I
a
kinda
weird
like-
way,
I
like in
kinda
a
like
Ned
him.
Flanders kind of
He
way,
is.
you know?
He is. Yeah. Be good to have
A Ned
Gore,
Flanders.
a press. Gore
I
press.
feel like Obama is too serious. I think we need like somebody who's lighthearted.
Did you
plays
watch
an instrument?
the Jerry Seinfeld Obama episode?
No.
Comedians driving cars.
No, I didn't.
Did you watch
no,
it?
Is it good?
It's excellent. Yeah, it's excellent.
Is Jerry Seinfeld
It's,
still really funny?
He actually. Do you know what he is? And well, he's okay, but he kind of did tease the president a little bit, and it was good. He was kind of obviously a little bit pandering, a little bit nervous, a little bit not himself in the president's, but he wasn't unwilling to jab at him and tease him a little bit and be quite witty. It was good. So basically, because Jerry Seinfeld has this comedians driving cars, whatever, get comedians in cars getting coffee, I think it is, and he's had pretty much everyone good on there so far.
Well,
and
did he
so
have Larry David
had
on there?
He's had everyone.
Nice.
Why
and
he's pretty much. It's good. I don't know. It's sponsored by Hyundai, or I don't care. Something like that.
I'm not watching
And,
that. I don't like sponsored content.
I don't know. It's on YouTube and it's funded through that. I
God.
think you can watch it anyway.
Sponsored
Or you should be
content
able
on
to watch it
YouTube.
somewhere.
That's where I draw the line. I'm not interested.
Maybe it's not on YouTube. I can't remember where it is. It might not be on YouTube. It might be on some weird other platform. But I watched a pirate version on YouTube, so maybe.
So
I
he was
don't know.
making
Who
fun of
cares?
the Prez, but the Prez was like,
And
"Oh,
so,
Jerry,
but
how
the
could I
Prez
ever
isn't
be mad
allowed
at
out
you?"
of his compound, right? He's not allowed out of his kind of area. He couldn't just drive to the local Starbucks, is what I'm saying. So they had to do the whole thing on the grounds
At Camp David? Was it at Camp David?
No, I think they did it at the White
No,
House.
come on, they did not.
I
They
think
would
they did,
never let
actually.
Jerry in the White
They
House.
did.
Come
They went
on.
into the Oval Office and he like ate a bit of the apple, and Obama was like, "You gonna leave that there?" You know, it was good. It was funny. They had some good bands.
They had some sick bands together.
I'm making it sound bad, but it was good. You should check it out.
I will
So
check
anyway,
that out. That sounds good.
the thing I wanted to say was very much like watching your older brother play video games and watching someone who's
Right,
older than you play stuff. People tend to not particularly enjoy watching TV or things with people younger than them.
No,
in it,
that's
right?
true, isn't it? I mean, I would never watch
It's a thing.
like Home Alone now. Because when
As
Home
soon
Alone
as you
came out, I was the same age as Macaulay Culkin and I could relate to him. But
Yeah,
now, when I watch
exactly.
that, I'm like, fuck this kid. Like, even though he's like the same age as me pretty much, I think, in real life. But,
Now he is.
you know,
Yeah.
he's a kid in the movie still, so... No, I know what you mean, though. It's weird. It's like, it's kind of like our taste in music, right? Like, you don't listen to... You get to a point in your life where you stop listening to new music. And I think that that's something to do with the fact that you don't really want to listen to music produced by people who are younger than you because they talk about shit that you don't care about anymore. You like...
Do you know what? I don't have that problem yet, but I think that I would have that problem if I knew that they were
But
younger.
you just listen to
Okay.
trance all the time, though, so it's different.
No, I listen to... There's a playlist on Spotify called the Discover Weekly.
Trance,
And basically, the guys at Spotify like update it every week with a new list of like 30 songs that I've never heard before. All bands kind of called like, you know, Gone to the Shelter or, you know...
Yeah.
The
Whipping Boys.
The Whipping Boys,
The Flutes.
or
It's always
my
the...
jizz,
My jizz
sprays across the sky.
Jizz
You know, it's
sprays.
something like that. That'll be the title of the
Yeah.
band, and their album will be Space Spunk.
Space
That'll be the
Spunk.
name of the album.
Jizzing in space.
And they'll have one good song on there, and that'll be the one which has made it to the weekly thing. And I like that stuff. And there'll be some weird stuff out of Iceland. And so yeah, but if I knew that they were sort of a band of 15-year-olds, I would be like, oh, I'm not listening to this anymore. I'm too old. But it's
I tried to love Busted,
phenomenon,
but I could not.
I'm trying to deconstruct this phenomenon, is what I'm trying to say, Sips. Because I think that, for example, I think it might be the reason why everyone who is in any of these high school dramas in America always looks about 25. And it's because they are 25 going to high school, because they're actors.
The cast
25.
is Saved
but
by
I think
the
the
Bell.
purpose of it is...
They were like all in their 30s.
It makes people who are slightly older still watch it.
That's true, actually. That's a good point. I never even really thought about that.
This isn't always true. I mean, I think, for example, with Harry Potter and with certain things to do with some certain settings like school, you can still enjoy that as an older person. But I think there's a certain age that might struggle with it and wouldn't watch it by choice. I think, for example, old people, okay, like my nan, she loves, for example, watching old films. Yeah. But also she likes watching TV shows and films with old people in them.
Yeah, with a big bowl of Werther's Originals next to her chair.
Like the Great Exotic Marigold Hotel or whatever. What? Or anything with that old... Anything with Dame Judi Dench.
Yeah, Midsummer Murders.
My nan is into that straight away. And I think, do you know what? I think having an old person in things like James Bond accesses a larger audience. You know,
that's a good point, actually. I never really thought of that.
I think they think, well, look, if she can be involved in it, enjoy this film, so can my nan.
Yeah. But then you take your nan to see the James Bond film, and Daniel Craig is like literally smashing some dude's face open with the butt of a gun, and your nan is like, in the theater
I can associate
crying.
with him, right? Yeah. Because I think of myself as Dan. No, but he's older than me, right? He's like older brother still, and I think even if I was slightly older, I don't know. The James Bonds are kind of in a weird ageless region, aren't they? They always are between kind of 30 and 50.
Yeah.
They're always
everybody in James Bond's always so sexy, though. That's the thing. It's like so unrealistic because
but that's the rule.
Nobody's that sexy like all the time. Like everyone he meets, like, hey, bit thirsty, can I get a soda? Why, hello, Mr. Bonds. Let me take all my clothes off, give you the soda. And he's like,
you're right, actually. Everyone, even like the nerds
baby,
in the lab, are always like super gorgeous. Where is the spotty, like, disgusting, overweight nerd in that film? Well, he'll usually be a bad guy, actually, won't he? Well, I wanted to get back into reading because I felt like I missed it after watching so much bad television and so many crappy films. I wanted to get back into reading books, and so the way I did it was I noticed a Reddit thread where they were talking about what the best short stories are and short writings, novellas, things like this.
Yeah.
And so I bought a bunch of them on Kindle, and I bought a bunch of collections, and I'm sort of trying to slowly work my way through them randomly. So for example, I'll pick one having absolutely no idea what it's about, because some of these stories are quite critically acclaimed, and if you read a little bit of the biography, it'll kind of spoil it. So I like to read them and then look them up afterwards and see if there was any kind of... So one book I read... The one I read when I was coming to you, I came around... Do you remember I told you about The Third Policeman that I read?
Yeah, you told me about that. Yeah, that sounded pretty good, actually.
But it wasn't. It was really fucking weird. It's kind of quite critically acclaimed. Well, I suppose. But it's just a very strange book. And I read it. I didn't read it. I had the audiobook, but I listened to it when I was going around Jersey over the summer. And it was
on your bike.
A strange story. I didn't. As I was
you told me about this story when you were here, and I thought it sounded kind of weird, but it was like kind of interesting. But honestly, if you tell me about it right now, I will probably die of an aneurysm in front of my microphone.
Well, no, basically what happened was it's supposed to be a comedy.
Okay, well, let me just tell you about the story so that you die.
I didn't know it was a comedy until I was about 3/4 of the way through.
Oh,
that's how funny it was.
Oh. Well, I gotta check this out now. I mean, you're really selling this. This sounds good to me.
It's weird. Sips, I am
Fucking hate?
a big
Fucking hate
fan
me?
of
Oh, yeah.
children's books.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Children's books, I am a fan. I do really like green eggs and ham. I will take them in a pan.
no, you can't. I don't think that that's in the book, actually,
I
because
will-
that would imply that you're going to eat them out of like the toilet, which you don't want to even give your kids that idea, because let me tell you something. If they knew that that is a possibility, they would want to do it, regardless of the health concerns or the ramifications or anything. Be like, no, Dad, I'm not eating this. I want to eat out of the toilet. Like, it's just anything to upset the routine and the status quo. You know, that's where kids are at. That's how they think. That's how they operate. That's the level that they operate on.
Often asked to eat out of the toilet.
No, but that's because I've gone to great lengths to never mention eating and the toilet in the same sentence.
Okay.
So that you would ever put those two together and realize that, you know, it was a thing.
I see, because
Like,
you don't want to say,
No.
don't eat it out of the toilet.
No.
Because
God,
that
no.
would be something that he really would want to do then. He would think, why is he telling me not to eat out of the toilet?
No, I don't want my kids to eat out of the toilet. I don't want them to know that the toilet and eating are things that can be done. If you're an adult and you want to eat your sandwich while you're taking a dump, that's up to you. I don't think you should, personally.
Have you
but
done that?
No.
Okay.
Have you?
I eat everything in the toilet.
Oh,
Sis.
fuck off. Are you serious?
I eat
How are you alive
I
still?
eat pizza. I had a pizza
No.
on the toilet today.
No.
Every time. Everything
There's
I
no.
eat. In fact, I don't eat anything not on the toilet.
What?
I can only eat on the toilet. Yeah.
Fuck you.
And I put the pizza down on the lid.
Fuck
And I
you.
sit there on the
Do you
floor.
watch your iPad in the bathroom?
And then, oh no. I don't like touching other
Do
people's
you have a
phones.
magazine rack in your bathroom?
I genuinely don't like touching other people's phones because I know that they use it in the bathroom and they don't wash it or wash their hands or anything.
I mean, this is something, you know, I do a lot of stupid shit, okay? Like, I'm into a lot of stupid shit. I do a lot of stupid shit. But let me tell you, having a magazine rack in my bathroom is not a stupid fucking thing that I do. I think that's gross. Like, I think that's fucking gross. If you take your iPad, your phone with you in the toilet as well, that's kind of gross too. I mean, there is a lot of fucking shit flying around in the air in your bathroom, getting onto your stuff and everything. And like, you know, sometimes you accidentally lick your phone or whatever. You might as well just lick a piece of shit.
Well, actually, this is quite interesting. Well, first of all, I totally agree with you, by the way. And
Good,
I mean,
I'm glad somebody
for goodness
does.
sake, okay?
God.
How long do you need to be in the bathroom for to have
I
to bring
know.
a magazine? I mean,
Jeez,
who-
your ass
what?
just your ass just like would
I am
fall
in and
asleep
out,
every time.
Okay, I'm very
I
efficient.
don't want to be in there for very long.
I have a
Like, I'm-
nice high fiber diet, so I don't need to be in there very
Well,
long.
I don't. See, this is the problem. See, I'm in there longer than I want to be because of my diet. But honestly, if I was really fucking healthy, holy shit. I mean, I would be getting that fine-tuned down
I
to like
only
30
eat
seconds, 20 seconds maybe.
dry
I'd be like in and out like Batman.
Cereal.
Oh.
And so my poops are like Weetabixes.
Whoa.
They just it's kind of like a sponge, a dry sponge coming out.
Oh.
You know, and
Yeah.
it just slides straight out, no mess.
Whoa.
What's up, what's down, and then I'm out of there. I'm getting out of
Fuck,
there.
I knew a guy who told me, he's like, oh fuck, like we were young too at the time. We were young and we were maybe drinking a little bit too much at the time too.
Okay, so you weren't that
It's got to
young.
be said. We're pretty young. We're like, I'd say like 20 at the time.
Okay, that's
And-
your idea of young.
20's young
I was
now
young.
for me. God.
I was
yeah, I
young.
was pretty young when I was 20 anyway.
Okay.
I felt a lot younger than I do now anyway when I
Keep
was
going.
20. So anyway, we're about 20, give or take. So it's probably about 20. And I'm talking to my friend and I said, fuck, you know, we've been drinking a
name was
lot
Fuck.
recently. No. I mean, it was just like a, you know, it's just,
he
just
German?
something that you... Yeah, he's deep German. It's like
Okay.
deepest, darkest Germany. His name is Fuck Van Fuckenheimer. Anyway, so I'm talking to him And I've said, like, geez, we've been drinking a lot recently, you know, like my diet isn't the best. Like, fuck, I've been taking some really loose shits recently.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh,
He
yeah,
says.
you know, I know what you mean, like, or whatever. But honestly, like, I can't remember the last time I passed like a solid shit. It's like, whoa, really? I was like, because I'm pretty sure I did one like last week. But, you know, just because of the way this week has gone or whatever, maybe not so much. It's like, no, for me, it's been like years. And I was like, whoa, you got to get that checked out. You know, like, you should actually be able to pass a solid shit once in a while. It shouldn't always be like liquid or whatever. And he's like, yeah, I don't really care. Okay, fine. So this guy, as far as I know, has just had runny shits his whole life.
He's dead now.
He's probably dead.
Yeah.
He's probably shit himself silly.
People
death.
who were listening to this podcast and expecting us to have a really good chat about books, okay, have had it completely turn around, and we're now talking about
Shit.
a really terrible anecdote, frankly, of your friend Fuck von Van Fuckenheimer
Oh, come on.
from Canada.
It's the only thing that sprang to
who,
mind when we
at the
started
age
talking
of
about
20,
shitting.
has told you that he's never had a solid shit in his life. What a story! What a story!
Well,
I'm glad
how
you
many
even
other people
remembered
that
that one.
How many
That
other people
stuck
do
in
you
your
know that
head.
would
You
have a
thought,
story
this
about
guy's
that?
fucking crazy.
Well, fuck. Come on. Jeez, I can't help it. I can't help the company I used to keep like 15 years ago. Jeez.
Jesus Christ.
You know, it's not my fault that this guy never took a solid shit before. God.
We'll end it here. Thank you. Goodbye.